Now, I believe in the resurrection, but dead people voting? I don't think so. The left boycotted President Trump's inauguration. They marched in Washington in their pussy hats and had a hissy fit for 4 years. So don't you dare ask us to just accept it and move on. And don't you dare tell me I'm being un-American. And don't you dare ask us to go quietly into the night. The most important part of democracy is to do it correctly. The most important question tonight is, did we in 2020? There is no magic in electing a president. Americans do it every 4 years, just as our founding fathers planned. Yet this is a life-changing moment in American history. America will either go one way or the other. And so it not only requires but demands all due diligence be exercised in this highly contested presidential election. There is both an ethical and a legal obligation to the 73 million Americans, the highest number ever, to vote for a sitting president to assure them that every legal vote is counted and not diluted in any way. Wouldn't that be something we'd all want? Our democratic system is the path and the process used to achieve the fundamental right of one man, one vote. There are, however, several steps before this election can be called. The media does not call an election. No one state has yet even certified its vote. Certification, in fact, has not even begun. In fact, the electors do not vote until December 14th. We have one president at a time, and until there are certifications or the electors vote on December 14th, the democratic process must be allowed to play out. But many questions remain. On election night around midnight, President Trump was ahead in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And then one by one, the complaints now in the form of affidavits and lawsuits started coming in. Now, an affidavit is a sworn statement. It is signed under the penalty of perjury. It is a factual allegation that is generally part of a complaint seeking relief. People promising that their statement is true and that they are ready to be charged with perjury if they lie. Now, the affidavits are as follows. GOP poll watchers were cursed at and were not allowed in the room. We heard complaints that 6,000 votes from Trump to Biden were switched. Repeated complaints of people not asking for ballots, but receiving many have been sworn to in affidavits. The Secretary of State in Georgia and a Supreme Court judge in Pennsylvania altered the process for handling ballots with absolutely no power to unilaterally change the Constitution. Article 1, Section 4. The Dominion software system has been tagged as one allegedly capable of flipping votes. If you want a free and fair election, there must be a resolution of the issues that so many people are swearing to in affidavits. In the 2000 presidential race, the Democrats took their case and their candidate to the United States Supreme Court. The presidency then wasn't resolved until December 13th of that year, a month from where we are now. In 2016, Hillary may have conceded, but there were recount efforts in Wisconsin and efforts in Pennsylvania and Michigan where Democrats challenged the votes. Certifications were not filed until December 13th, a month from now. Look, folks, under the cover of COVID, rules were changed, providing opportunities for wrongdoers. COVID cannot be used to run herd on our Constitution. COVID is not a prophylactic that prevents us from exercising our constitutional fundamental right to vote. And Joe Biden, well, he had his own view of the opportunity it presented.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
So I ask, Why were rules and procedures changed just before the election in Pennsylvania and Georgia because of COVID? There are affidavits and emails that prove that voters in Democrat counties were treated differently than voters in Republican counties. Whether the poll watchers who have a legal right to view were forced out, pushed back as far as 60 feet, or not even allowed in to do what they had a legal right to do. Why would the Democrats want to ban election observers as they count the ballots? Did they not think they could win honestly? Why were there so many unsolicited ballots without verification signatures, ballots without postmarks? Why did a judge in Pennsylvania go outside his power to extend the deadline to receive mail-in ballots after the legislature, the only constitutional body permitted to do so, refused to do so? And why did a Trump-hating Secretary of State in Georgia agree with Stacey Abrams? And there is a lawsuit by Lynn Wood in the United States District Court in Georgia contesting those decisions. Now, I believe in the resurrection, but dead people voting? I don't think so. Like the mother who swore that her dead son was indeed dead, but that he voted twice. And those voting machines created by Dominion? Stay tuned. The best is yet to come. Now, the left talks about bringing the country together after they created 4 years of chaos, accusing Trump of sowing doubt in our democracy, saying that his questioning of this election is a danger to America, as if the election process being changed in the middle of an election is no big deal, as if a little fraud is okay. And they lash out on any voting challenge, casting it as a temper tantrum by us. Really? We're the ones having the temper tantrum? The question ultimately is, will any of these allegations affect a sufficient number of votes to change the result of the election? Maybe yes, and maybe no. If the answer is President Trump did not win, then on January 20th, Joe Biden will be my president. But until then, President Trump is my president because America has only one president at a time. And in the meantime, please don't tell me that we cannot examine the ballots. Please do not tell me that we cannot pursue these irregularities. That's laughable. The left didn't stop on Election Day in 2016. And with all due respect, the left boycotted President Trump's inauguration. They marched in Washington in their pussy hats and had a hissy fit for 4 years. In fact, the left spied on Trump before he was even president. For 3 years, we heard he was an illegitimate president, that Russia tipped the scales in his favor, that he was a Putin puppet, that he was a fascist. We were spit at, refused service, cursed at, maligned, screamed at, boycotted, and canceled. Businesses were burnt, looted, and destroyed by the left. Chaos, defund the police. President Trump was not given a moment's peace. He was impeached over a legitimate phone call. It was nothing more than a political move. The group that brought us resist, impeach, and burn down cities extorted us with their chaos. Oh, no. We will pursue all legal avenues where there are irregularities, anomalies, illegalities, and corruption. And until the certification and the electors vote, that is not a lot to ask. So don't you dare ask us to just accept it and move on. And don't you dare tell me I'm being un-American by questioning what even a Supreme Court justice has put a hold on. And don't you dare ask us to go quietly into the night.